There we go. Off to a good start. They're about even. Smurfy pulling ahead just barely. We're gonna see the shroom on this map does make a huge difference. It's very easy to get caught on the back of the hill. Lars going to the right and having to go over the snow a little bit. It's gonna slow him down. Both players coming around the second to last turn. Smurfy having a very good first lap, 41.35. To Lars's 41.90, just a little bit behind. Very small mistakes will cost a lot here, as we have two very top level players. Smurfy is taking very good corners. Lars is falling a little bit behind just due to very small widened turns. Smurfy going in very aggressively, very good leaps. Going right through the snowman. Lars going to the right. A little bit of aggressiveness will pay off, very, very much so. Lars struggling to get around. 40.69 to Lars's 41.80. It's very easy to tell at this level of gameplay where just these very tight turns, you know, not going wide around the snowmen. You can really see the small differences each time a mistake is made. Smurfy going through, landing to the left of the snowmen. Lars going much safer to the right over the snow. Very, very good start by Smurfy. That was a great pick. And he finishes with a 2:02.91. Lars with a 2:05.95. Alright, and I will update the scoreboard here. And Smurfy comes out with the lead. And Lars is up next to choose, and he picks Luigi Raceway. And that's a great track to pick, because it's quite a good wake-up call for anybody who is a little rusty. It is very, very low variance across the times. Very tough to get ahead on the leaderboards. Alright, and I'm just waiting for Lars to ready up. They are both ready, and I will count them down in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, and you will see these players doing a lot of straight stretch mini turbos and mini turbos around there. Lars having a tough start and going off to the side at the beginning. And this is a great track to talk about the mini turbo in a little bit more depth. Mini turbo is basically a small boost awarded after a player performs a complicated drift process, which is used to build that boost. It's essentially toggling the control stick left and right, or right and left depending on which way you face. Both players having a very good mushroom. It didn't look like Lars got the mystery boost. Mystery boost is when you are coming around that first, around that corner with the shroom. Right as it ends, you can have a mini turbo charged and let go as you hit the wall, and it will actually boost you to get you off of that grass area. So he is just minutely behind. Any mistake is really going to cost them here. So back to the mini turbo. It's the core advanced driving mechanic and is a primary differentiator between beginner and advanced players. It can be done around corners as well as on straightaways, as you are seeing here on Luigi Raceway. And the mini turbo has 7 unique phases, which can be all performed frame perfect. The longer a player spends on each step beyond what is necessary, the more speed they lose while building that mini turbo, and greater overall the distance that they travel. So, essentially, you can charge a mini turbo, and you have to jump and turn on the same frame, and when you land, you are counter steering and holding back. If you're facing right, the back is to the left, or vice versa. You're holding back 9 frames, and then that's the point at which you can toggle inward 1 frame and toggle backward to counter steer again, turning the smoke from white to yellow, and then you hold back for 4 frames and then forward again to turn it from yellow to red and let go. Smurfy pulling ahead just a little bit, 159.58 to Lars's 2 and 28. Yeah, the beginning did mess him up. If he wouldn't have had that bad start, it actually would have been either to him or otherwise. And could somebody please state for me Smurfy's score? I did not catch it. I just know that it was faster. It was a 159.76 if I recall. 159.58. Thank you. And that brings Smurfy up 2-1 in this set. And I am waiting for the next match here. Wario Stadium is up next, chosen by Smurfy. And they are both ready up, so I will count them down in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, and great start. Smurfy going with a little bit more aggressive beginning. Doing the drift right out of the gate over the hills can save you some time at the beginning, but if you over or understeer, you'll be right into the wall. And they are pretty much all lined up here. Smurfy pulling ahead just a little bit due to just perhaps that good start. Hitting the wall, not quite getting the mini turbo off of that hill, going to the left. Pulling around to the right, and we will see the first mushroom come up. Good angle by Smurfy. A little wider by Lars. He's going to hit the wall and lose a little bit more time. Lars going over the hills. Going to slow him down just a little bit by being airborne. Not quite hitting the mini turbos coming around. And Smurfy pulling ahead just a little bit more. He's going to go over these hills. Couple mini turbos. Lars struggling to get a mini turbo. Smurfy coming around. Lars pulling around and getting a little tighter around that corner. A couple things to note, as we can see, whenever you're off on an angle, whenever you're going around a corner, Smurfy with the 130.21 to the 131.38. Coming around a corner, if you are a little bit too wide, you can hop, and it will readjust you to bring up a turn to a much tighter angle. Doing it too far will result in you hitting the wall, but knowing how many hops to do to recorrect yourself can be a huge help. Smurfy coming around that corner. Going a little bit wider so he can get that mini turbo charged. Lars also doing the same. Couple hops to tighten up. Good angle by Smurfy. A little wider than last time. Lars going way in. Not quite hitting the wall. Perfect. We'll gain him a little time. That was very, very close. I thought he was going to hit the wall, to be honest. If it were me, I would have. So he did gain a little bit on Smurfy. He is still a little bit behind. Any mistake will cost them big time. Even though it's a lot of small mistakes that have led up to Smurfy's lead, one mistake by Smurfy will give him the race. Smurfy having very good handling throughout the match so far. Cutting the corners very tight. Coming through the end a little bit wide for the 129.41 to Lars's 129.35. So we did see a small gain. On that first big hill, it is possible to tran the hill. Tran being basically riding the back end of the hill, which would save a ridiculous amount of time over the other player. It's very hard to pull off. It's a very precise jumping time. Essentially, the tran principle is the fact that any time that you would have been airborne, Lars going very, very wide on that last one. He's going to lose some time. The tran principle is that you always want to be on the ground. So anytime that you would be airborne, if you could save a little bit of time just by jumping early and hit the ground sooner, you can save a little bit of time by doing that. You normally see that in a Rainbow Road match at the very beginning, but it is possible to do it in other instances. Smurfy coming around. Ooh, bonking the wall. It will mess up his angles. Lars gains a little bit, but not quite enough. And Smurfy will finish with a 4:29.26 to Lars's 4:31.98. Let me update the scoreboard here. Lars with the 4:31. The 8. Two Smurfies, 4:29.26. And Smurfy pulls ahead. We have a set point possibly coming up on the next pick. Alright, and I am waiting for the next pick. Lars has chosen Koopa Troopa Beach as the next race. So I will wait for them to ready up and count them down. Alright, they are ready. So we will go in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, and they will rocket start around that first corner. Maintaining... Oh, Lars just bonking into the wall a couple times. It'll lose him a little bit of time. Smurfy taking the corners very tightly. Lars coming back. Smurfy going inside of the palm tree, and they will take the safe way into the cave. Lars going for a little riskier strat and hitting the wall a couple times, losing all of his speed. Having a decent mushroom. and Smurfy will pull ahead 32.53 to 34.60. Lars struggling to get around the first corner. Smurfy continuing to pull very tight corners around. Going on the inside of the palm trees once again. Taking the safe way into the cave. Lars going with the riskier strat, and it will cost him. He will not make it into the cave. Smurfy will pull ahead. So it is possible to mini turbo off of the ramp going into the cave. It does save time, but it is highly risky to do. So going the little safer route will make Smurfy win the set unless he does something drastic here. And Smurfy goes safe once again. Lars forgot to use Shroom on lap 2, so he'll do the flap strat around that corner. And Smurfy pulls it in with a 138.27. Lars missing the cave jump once again, and will go around to finish it. $138.27 to 202.14. A tough loss for the first set, but there's still plenty to go. Done deal. And Smurfy is up one set. Lars with the first pick, and he chooses Moo Moo Farm. Might be a very, very good pick against Smurfy, as those moles are random and it will cost big time. One very big reason why to choose something when somebody is playing so well, putting in that random risk factor can really throw them for a loop. All right, and the players have readied up, and we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, and both players rocket starting at the beginning, getting the mini turbos, going around the first set of molehills. Lars falling just barely behind due to some tiny differences in maneuvering. This map is very tough to maneuver due to the jagged terrain, which causes you not to be able to maneuver as nicely as the other flat terrain maps. So anytime that you would be kind of bouncing on the hill as you go around it, it's very hard to charge a mini turbo, and not having that speed to redirect yourself will cause you to over or under maneuver to the left or the right. Hitting a molehill is very possible, and Lars with the first mole hit. Smurfy coming around the second lap. 29.83. Lars will fall behind with the 32.51. Smurfy hitting the wall. It will cost him a very small amount, but with this, as long as he doesn't hit a mole, he is in the bag. Electing to go in, but he hits the mole. Will this be enough? Oh, Lars, he gets through, and Smurfy will pull just barely ahead. 131.56 to 132.62. And that will put 1 point in for the second set in Smurfy's favor. Alright, and I have readied up. We'll see what the next match will be. It will be Banshee Boardwalk by Smurfy. One of his own favorites, so this is a good pick for his own map. And they have both readied up, so we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. This is a very spooky track. I highly recommend playing with the lights off for maximum effect. Both players pulling around. Smurfy having the tighter angles. You can see him pull ahead ever so slightly. Lars going for the risky strat. Them both, actually. Smurfy having a worse shroom, but Lars having a bad entrance into the Bat Cave. Oh, but Smurfy bonking the wall. It will even them almost up. Lars being just barely behind with some maneuvering, hitting the wall, getting the mini turbos around that fencing area. Lots of bonks in that bat house. So they actually, despite those mistakes, did not pull any further ahead or behind, just barely. Get through the zigzag portion with both with mini turbos. Very good mushrooms on these. Lars struggling to get over into the bat house, getting the mini turbos. He's going to fall just a little bit behind. Smurfy with the 42-13 and Lars with the 43-23. Smurfy electing to use the mushroom as he hits the ground. Lars doing it beforehand, hitting the wall, and he will lose the boost of the mushroom, and he will fall just a little bit behind. Despite all the mistakes, these are still very good times. You know, you can see only the fact that one player is pulling ahead due to these small mistakes, but these are both good times regardless. Smurfy with the 20902 and Lars with the 21125. And Smurfy will take that point, and Lars will be next up on the pick. It'll be interesting to see when or where each player will play a Joker if they choose to do so. Lars has chosen Mario Raceway, another great place where it's very easy to make a mistake, making that mushroom cut through the piranha plants. And both players have readied up, so we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. And both players getting around the first corner. You'll see them hop over the grass. It's a tactic so that the grass doesn't slow you down as quickly. Lars and Smurfy making it through the mushroom cut. Hopping over the grass will reduce the, or rather lengthen the time it takes for the grass to slow you down. Think of it as reducing the friction slightly. Lars bonking into the wall, very easy to do. So after you mini turbo from the road, you'll hop to extend out that mini turbo boost, so just so you can cross those small gaps. Getting through both sides. Smurfy having a fantastic mushroom. Take a very good line to get through to that final corner. 29.93 and Lars is 30.15. Both players taking the mushroom cut both times and getting through. Smurfy playing very consistently and having faster mini turbos will gain him all that extra time. Smurfy finishing very quickly with the 129.40. Lars with the 131.36. And Smurfy with a top 5 time. Very, very consistent driving. Alright, and this potentially could be a second set point for Smurfy. Let's see what they choose next. Smurfy choosing Royal Raceway. So he will choose something that he will probably win in his own opinion, and might be a good one. Alright, and waiting for them to ready up. And we will go in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, and the first corner, Smurfy hit the grass just a little bit while charging that mini turbo. We'll get around the turn there, and Smurfy taking just a little tighter turn around with the mushroom. Both players will mini turbo over the normal boost section, as it does allow you to get a little bit more speed. Smurfy landing first, just barely. You can see the time difference there. It's very short. Smurfy taking a very larger leap over the grass. It will slow him down just a little bit, but Lars did struggle to get back on the map. 58.66 to 59.20. Lars ever so slightly falling behind, but Smurfy will take a wider leap around that turn, and Lars will gain on him just slightly. Oh, Smurfy bonking into the wall while trying to charge the mini turbo over the boost. It's going to cost him just a little bit of time. But he has pulled ahead a little bit more, as you can see. It didn't slow him down very much. Lars training down the grass hill. He will make it across. Smurfy with the 58.20 to his 58.90. It does slow you down quite a bit more, not jumping over the grass, so it did cost him a little time. And Smurfy will pull around and gain. Lars pulling into the final mushroom, doing it a little bit early. You can see the difference between the two as Smurfy, you can whip around that turn a lot quicker if you wait to do the the shroom just for a little bit longer than it would naturally seem. Smurfy having a very good jump over. He will bounce a little bit. Lars grass training over it again. And Smurfy will take it with the 255.04 to Lars, 256.77. Match point to Smurfy, 2 sets, 2-0. Alright, and we are ready, and Lars will be first up to pick, and we'll see what he chooses. Lars going with the Choco Mountain, another very, very technical track. Much like Luigi Raceway, there's not a lot of variance on this track. Very tough to get ahead on the leaderboards. This is another track where getting ahead, sometimes you will feel like you had a good run, but you didn't gain any time on your PR. So taking the turns very tightly, you know, shrooming at the right angle and taking them as close as you can to the wall will gain you the time. Very risky, but highly rewarding. And both players have readied up, so we will go in 3, 2, 1, go. And you jump to the side and do a mini turbo around the first corner and then use a mushroom normally. Lars going with the shroom, hitting the second shroom accidentally. Smurfy coming around, not using the first shroom around the normal corner. He's going to save it. And Lars pulling ahead just a little bit, but he is down 2 mushrooms. Both players will jump over that to hit the ground a little bit quicker. Both taking the cut here very tightly, not hitting the wall. Smurfy will gain, and he is almost even, not using a single shroom. Lars going over the hills, both of them hitting it and getting bad hills, and they will shroom around the first corner. Smurfy will double shroom, and Lars has lost time from hitting the wall, so Smurfy will pull ahead a little bit, having very good angles coming around. Very fast mini turbos. Cutting it right next to the fencing area. Pulling ahead ever so slightly. Lars out of shrooms. It's going to take a mistake by Smurfy. Smurfy getting good hills and will shroom around. He loses speed though as he hits the wall. Lars will gain just ever so slightly. We're really counting on the player to hit the wall here, as some angles will either shoot you out or it will actually just tangle you in, sucking up all of your speed. Smurfy cutting the fence area tight, and he will finish up. Lars going just a little bit wider. He hits the side of the wall, eating a little bit of time. Bad hills from both players, and finishes with 159.12 to the 2:00:05. And that will get a race point for the third set to Smurfy. So the next pick is Smurfy, so we will see what he chooses. And he has elected to use his Joker to do Royal Raceway Shortcut. Very interesting pick, as this trick is easily missable if you have a bad jump over the water, or if you don't jump soon enough, you will land in the water. And both players have readied up, so we will go in 3, 2, 1, go. And I will preface this information by saying that the game's shortcut utilizes the Lakitu to misplace you. Instead of putting you back where you actually jumped off, the game will actually place you where it thinks you should be, which is further up on the ramp. So both players will start going around the corner, but instead, after going around this big corner to the right, instead of continuing on, the players will jump over the water and nail the wall. Lars not going for the shortcut, so the point at which Smurfy hit the wall, it actually thinks that he is up on the big ramp here, and he will go for the next shortcut. Oh, but he hits the wall, and he's not going to make it over. So he falls into the water a second time and will be placed back up on the ramp, right about where Lars is. And now Smurfy will go the normal way where Lars is at. If that happens again, Lars could potentially pull ahead. So the Lakitu is it's used by Polygon, so the game thinks there's a range of where you could have fallen off. So if you touch that point, the game updates your position on the map, and instead of placing you where you actually were, it will place you ahead. Smurfy going for the shortcut again. He will hit the correct spot, which is just to the right. You can see where that jagged point is for that polygon. If you go to the left there, you will not make it. It will put you back to where you actually were. But if you are just to the right, that is the spot where you want to hit. So Smurfy will not go the extra swag route. He will elect to go a little bit safer and gain all of that extra time, going for the riskier mushroom. So essentially, after the ramp, you can go straight just like normal, or you can go all the way to the left. Again, getting over to a spot where the game thinks it should place you over by where the final turn of the lap is. So because he went for it and missed it, it cost him a lot of time. Normally, even if you hit it, it does only save very nominal time. So very risky in a one-try scenario. Oh, falling in the water at the end, trying to do the final shroom right at the end. Lars going the regular non-shortcut route, and Smurfy will take it with the 2:30.64. Resetting his card, so it did not save. As he did not want to overwrite his other times. And Lars will finish up non-shortcut with the 2:57. 31.
Select your player. Select map.
And that will bring Smurfy up 2 points in this set. Potentially a match decider coming up soon. Lars choosing Luigi Raceway once again. Only being able to do so as the pool of tracks that you can choose for each character, or for each player rather, will reset after 2 sets have been driven. Alright, and both players have readied up. So we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Now meet the course ghost. So this is another track, very interesting pick, as the mistakes on this track are very subtle majority of the time. Messing up a mushroom will cost a lot of time for both of these players. It appears that they both do the 1-2-0 mushroom strat. That's one shroom on the first lap, as we'll see them come around the first corner here, charging up the mini turbo and then hitting the wall to get the mystery boost. Looks like Lars got the mystery boost. Smurfy releasing at the wrong timing, and it will cost him a little bit of time. Smurfy's still pulling ahead a little bit, 40.01 to 40.15. And they'll enter the second lap almost even. Very small differences here will cost a lot of time. One missed mini turbo will cost just a little bit of time over a long period. So if you miss a couple, it could cost you. Both players doing the double shroom around the corner. Smurfy will pull ahead just a little bit, taking those turns just a little bit tighter. Lars going into the sand just ever so slightly does cause the friction to slow your kart down considerably. Coming up to the final turn here, and Smurfy is ahead, having a clean finish. He'll finish with the 1:59.32 to Lars's 2:00.24. Only a half-second difference. Excuse me, almost a full second difference. Pardon me. Alright, and this potentially could be the match point here. We need to see something drastic from Lars. Let's see what we will have next. Yes, each set is a best of 7. of races, and then it's a best 3 out of 5 sets. So this potentially is the match point. And Smurfy has elected to do Mario Raceway, and both players have readied up. So we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, meet the course ghost. Ooh, Smurfy. No, not quite getting onto the road. Lars will pull ahead by a large margin. He wasn't able to get around charging the mini turbo. He will hit the piranha plant and lose a massive amount of time, electing to go around the mushroom, getting back onto the road. Lars will pull ahead by a huge margin. He does hit the wall with the mushroom. Smurfy coming around with the mushroom, doesn't hit the wall, so he'll gain a little bit of time there. Lars pulling ahead with the 30.95, and Smurfy will be trailing with the 35.74. It's going to take a piranha plant hit by Lars. This could potentially be coming back. He does make it through. Smurfy, ooh, he was probably trying to not hit it, and he overcompensated and hit the mushroom itself, bouncing him out of the gap. He will pull through. Lars pulling ahead, having trouble getting around the final corner. Smurfy going through with the mushroom, and Lars will pull ahead, and he is going for the third mushroom cut. And has another clean one. Very nice maneuvering by Lars. Smurfy having a clean cut on lap 3, but having those two will cost him. Lars pulling ahead with the 131.66. He denies the match point by Smurfy, his own map. 131.66 to 139.70. Not going to go down without a fight. Alright, and Lars pulling up with some points now. Alright. He couldn't bear the sweep. He could not let it happen. Alright, and I am ready for the next one. Still waiting for an input from the players. Give us just one moment. The next pick is by Lars. He must be strategizing the next map, trying to get his comeback in place, and he has chosen Toad's Turnpike, another very technical map with a lot of cars, trucks, and buses that are in set places. Alright, and both players are ready and we will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, and both players mini turboing over the beyond the first truck, around the next car, and will go inside of the yellow school bus. Very nice maneuvering. So this is a track that you want to take the turns next to that fence very tightly, doing the mini turbos. Lars accidentally using a mushroom. So this is very easy to hit the wall, the fence rather, and lose a little bit of time and momentum. Trying to maneuver around these cars and doing the straight stretch mini turbos is very, very technical, as you can see, Smurfy was forced to go around the outside and will lose a little bit of time. If you miss a mini turbo and you have a bad angle, as a result, it will be hard to charge and get around some of these cars. So being able to do it as quickly and as cleanly will be able to go straighter for that straight stretch mini turbo. With both of the players playing PAL, the game does run at 25 frames per second, so it is a bit easier to have a cleaner mini turbo and not spending too much time charging it. As if you take more frames to charge it up, you do end up losing time overall. So being able to do that more efficiently will gain you a lot of time in the end. Lars just falling just a little bit behind. Smurfy picking up the pace here. Not having used a mushroom so far, Lars will bonk into the fence. Smurfy doing the mushroom around that corner, finally using one. Lars electing to use it in the normal place, but he is down one mushroom. Smurfy still has the slight lead. Using another mushroom around that corner to beat the truck. 59.86 to 100.60. Smurfy having very, very good mini turbos coming around. It's going to take a big mess up. Potentially a truck hit. Ooh, just having just a little bit of a strange angle for Smurfy. That one, it was a little scary. I thought he was going to maybe come across and hit that truck. But not even commentators' curse can touch Smurfy at this point. The ending of Toad's Turnpike, there are a lot of cars and buses, so you have to be prepared with a good angle to get through. Smurfy just barely charging the mini turbo to get around to not hit that bus, ending with the 3:01.07 to Lars's 3:02.69. Still great races by two very good players, but Smurfy will take it for today. And that will bring this set to a close and also bring the match to a close. So good game to both of the players. And that will bring Smurfy with a big W for today. So thank you very much for watching. Check us out next time on one of the Speed Gaming channels. We will have more Mario Kart 64 Time Trials League matches on here. We appreciate the support, and thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting our gameplay. Much appreciated. You can throw a follow, you can follow the schedule, and you can join us on MarioKart64.com if you want to begin your journey up the world ranking leaderboards. The community is fantastic, very supportive, and We're very appreciative. So thank you and have a fantastic day. This has been Haddock, and I am signing out.